Hi friends, in my last video I have explained about Morse method in precipitation titration. In this video I am going to explain about Walhards and modified Walhards in precipitation titration. Let's see Walhard titration. Walhards method. This method is described by Jacob Walhard in 1874. This method is described by Jacob Walhard. He was a German chemist. Okay, it was described in the year of 1874. In this method, soluble red color compound will produce at end point. What is that? Soluble red color compound. Here, Walhard's method, it is an example of back titration method. Hence, two standard solutions are required. Means back titration method means here sample is not directly reacting with the titrant. Sample is not directly reacting with this titrant. Means sample we are not directly estimating the sample. In indirect way, we are going to estimate the sample. So, for any back titration method, two standard solutions are required. First one is standard AgNO3 solution and standard ammonium thiocyanate or ammonium potassium cyanide solution. Either we may use ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate solution. Here, what is the indicator? Ferric alum or ferric ammonium sulfate solution used as an indicator in Walhard's method. Ferric alum is also known as ferric ammonium sulfate. This is okay. And let's see the principle of Walhard's method. In this method, silver ion is titrated directly with standard ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate solution using ferric alum solution as an indicator. In the presence of acidic medium, a 10-point red color compound will be produced. This is the principle. Means silver ion is titrated directly with standard ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate solution using ferric alum solution as an indicator. And this Walhard's method is carried out in the presence of acidic medium and a 10-point red color compound will be produced. Here in my last video I explained about Morse method that is carried out in neutral medium. Here Walhard's method is carried out in acidic medium. Here let's say this is the for better understanding purpose. Okay, here you can see here this is you consider as butane. Butane is filled with either ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate as a titrant. Ammonium or potassium thiocyanate, anyone. Here in the Kolkata class, here I am taking the sample that is potassium chloride. To the potassium chloride, I am going to add excess amount of silver nitrate. Keep in mind excess amount of known excess amount of silver nitrate we have added to the potassium chloride. Then added ferric alum solution, few drops of ferric alum solution, and this titration is carried out in acidic medium, that is in the presence of nitric acid HNO3. Here what will happen? In the first time, whenever we are adding silver nitrate to the potassium chloride, the reaction between these two compounds will be takes place. Okay, before starting up titration, reaction between these two takes place. Then in the second reaction taking place between this ammonium thiocyanate and excess silver nitrate, and final reaction is taking place about ammonium thiocyanate and ferric alum indicator. This is the concept. Let's see in detail. Here first one here this concept I am going to explain with the three steps. Step 1, addition of excess amount of standard silver nitrate solution to KCl sample for back titration. Addition of excess amount of standard silver nitrate solution to KCl for back titration. Then what will happen? If AgNO3 standard excess amount silver nitrate solution added to the KCl, AgCl precipitate will form. Here this chloride ion combined with Ag and the silver chloride precipitate will form along with KNO3, potassium nitrate will form. Here again I am written silver nitrate because we are adding excess amount of silver nitrate now. Some amount of AgNO3 will remain unreacted in the solution. For suppose if I am taking 10 KCl, okay, if I am taking 10 KCl, if I and 15 AgNO3 is there, 15 AgNO3, 10 KCl is there. Then what is the product here? 10 AgCl and 10 KNO3 form. Here 10 KCl is reacted with 10 AgNO3. Actually 10 molecules of AgNO3 is sufficient for reaction of 10 KCl. But instead of taking 10, I have taken here 15. Means 5 moles of or 5 molecules of AgNO3 I have taken extra. Those 5 molecules of AgNO3 is extra. Unreacted form of AgNO3 will remain in the solution. Okay. If you know the amount of unreacted AgNO3, by this way we can determine. By this way we can know the main amount of KCl. Because as I told you now, out of 15 amount, out of 15 50 molecules of AgNO3, here finally 5 AgNO3 remain in the solution. 5 means if you know this amount of AgNO3 remain in the solution means, then if you know the 5 moles of or 5 molecules of AgNO3 remain means how much amount of AgNO3 reactor means 10 amount of AgNO3 reactor na means 10 is to here 10 molecules of AgNO3 react with 10 molecules of KCl means 1:1 ratio is enough, KCl and AgNO3. So based on the excess amount of silver nitrate remaining in the solution, then we can determine the potassium chloride sample. Okay, indirectly we are going to determine. Okay, here then step 2, titration of excess amount, that is unreacted AgNO3 solution will react with ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate. Here then before starting titration this will be happen. Then once you add potassium thiocyanate or ammonium thiocyanate from butyrate, then it will react with the AgNO3. It is remain in the solution. It will react with AgNO3. Then ammonium thiocyanate is reacting with AgNO3. Then what will happen? Here AgSCl means this cyanide, thiocyanate and Ag combine with each other. Silver thiocyanate precipitate will form along with ammonium nitrate. If our titrant is potassium thiocyanate means potassium thiocyanate will react with AgNO3. AgSCl will form along with potassium nitrate. Okay, as I mentioned in the diagram, first reaction takes place here between KCl and AgNO3. Second reaction takes place at ammonium thiocyanate or AgNO3 or KCl or AgNO3. Excess amount. If you know the excess amount, if you know the unreacted of AgNO3 remain in the solution, based on that we can determine main original amount of KCl. That is indirectly we are going to estimate the sample. Okay, then finally step 3, we should know about reaction between titrate and titrate is completed. How can we know? Here color change should be there. Further addition of thiocyanate means ammonium thiocyanate from butyrate reacted with ferric column indicator and gives red color due to the formation of ferric ferrothiocyanate. It indicates the end point. It indicates the end point. At end point what will happen? At end point what will happen? If we add, suppose you can see, if we add further addition of ammonium thiocyanate to the conical class, what will happen? Here all again silver nitrate reacted with ammonium thiocyanate. If you still adding ammonium thiocyanate means it will react with the ferric column indicator and it gives ferric ferrothiocyanate red color compound will be produced. This formation indicates that end point. End point. You can see here ferric column. It is having ferric ions. Indicator consists ferric. Then the butyrate ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate. It is here thiocyanate is there. The ferric ion from indicator react with the thiocyanate from the ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate. It gives ferric ferrothiocyanate. Okay, ferric ferrothiocyanate red color compound will be produced. At the end point, this color compound will be produced. This indicates end point of the titration. Then this is the concept of Wollaston method. Then what are the conditions required for Wollaston method? This titration must be carried out in acidic medium. Why it is carried out in acidic medium? Because it prevents the precipitation of iron as iron hydroxide. Okay, if you suppose instead of carrying out acidic medium, if you are using basic medium means the iron is converted into iron hydroxide precipitate. You can see this is the ferric ion. Okay, then if you create basic medium means hydroxide ions are there in the basic. Then this ferric ion react with the hydroxide groups of basic solution. Ferric hydroxide will produce or iron hydroxide will produce. Here it leads to errors in the results. Actually, the ferric ion should be reacted with the ammonium thiocyanate at end point. At end point, the ferric ion should be reacted with thiocyanate, and this color product should be formed at end point. If you create a basic environment means this ferric ion reacted with hydroxyl groups, it converted into iron hydroxide and ferric hydroxide, leads to errors in the form, errors in the results. This is the one condition. And second condition, the concentration of indicator should not be greater than 0.2 molar. Then third condition, in case of sample consists iodide, if our sample is iodide, okay, then indicator should not add until all iodide precipitated as silver iodide. Otherwise what will happen? It will be oxidized by ferric ion.
because if our sample is here I have taken sample that is potassium chloride. Instead of if you are taking potassium chloride, our sample is potassium iodide, means iodide is there. Then what will happen? The iodide will be oxidized by ferric ion. Here then in case of sample consists iodide, the indicator should not add until all iodide precipitated as silver iodide. Means initially you should not add indicator to the sample. Here once you should add indicator once all iodide is converted to the silver iodide after reacting with silver nitrate only. Then otherwise what will happen? This iodide will be undergoes oxidation by the ferric ion, means indicator. You can see this ferric ion reacted with iodide and it is converted to Fe3 plus is converted to Fe2 plus and iodide is converted to iodine. See here iodide is undergoes oxidation, means losing electrons, then converted to iodine. Here this ferric Fe3 plus gaining electrons and converted to reduction Fe2 plus form. So iodide will be oxidized by ferric ion. If we add indicator to the sample, okay, if you add indicator to the potassium iodide, then this will be happen, leads to errors in the results. Then fourth condition, at equilibrium condition, two sparingly soluble salts are present. Okay, at equilibrium condition of this titration, two sparingly soluble salts are present. Those are silver chloride and silver thiocyanate. You can see here, first one silver chloride precipitate, this is first one, and second one silver thiocyanate precipitate, number 2. These two precipitate will produce at equilibrium condition. Then here means Ag plus Cl minus reacted with each other, AgCl will be there, and Ag plus HCl reacted with AgHCl. This Ag is coming from AgNO3 and this is from sample. This is from titrate, ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate. These two precipitate sparingly soluble salts are produced, okay, at equilibrium condition. Then what is that? If solubility of AgCl is less than silver thiocyanate, no errors in the results. There is no problem for the titration. Okay. If solubility of AgCl is greater than silver thiocyanate, then what will happen? Silver chloride precipitate has to be removed by filtration process because it will react with the thiocyanate of the titrant, leads to overconsumption of ammonium thiocyanate, hence errors occurs in the results. Suppose if AgCl solubility, if AgCl having higher solubility than AgHCl, then no problem. Then if AgCl solubility is higher than AgHCl, here there is the problem. It should be the AgCl precipitate should be removed by filtration before back titration. If you are not removed, means it leads to error, means it will react with the thiocyanate, means whatever the AgCl is formed, it is react with thiocyanate from butyrate and silver thiocyanate and chloride will form here. It leads to overconsumption of ammonium thiocyanate, means leads to errors in the results. This is the error. So this will be happen if solubility of AgCl is greater than AgHCl. Means solubility nothing but whatever the AgCl is forming again dissociate to Ag plus and Cl minus only. If solubility of AgCl is high, means it again dissociate to Ag plus and Cl minus. Okay, here in this condition, in the first step, AgCl is forming now. If the solubility is high, means if whatever it is forming, it is undergoing dissociation Ag plus and Cl minus. After dissociation, this silver ions again will react with the thiocyanate from titrate, will lead to overconsumption. Okay, that leads to errors. Then what are the advantages of Volhart's method? This method is useful where the titration is performed at low pH values. Means only carried out in acidic medium. That's why useful where the titration is performed at low pH values. The strong acid environment gives advantage for halide analysis. Means this is carried out in the presence of acidic environment, that is dilute means HNO3, nitric acid. This environment gives advantage for halide analysis. This is the principle of Volhart's method. Then what is meant by modified Volhart's method? Modified Volhart's method means Volhart method was modified by Carvel, Jr. and Mayer, BH. These two scientists just modified the Wohler's method. What they modified? What they added? Okay, means in this method, nitrobenzene or chloroform is added after addition of silver nitrate solution to the sample. Here they just means one more compound they added. Means okay, here you can see in Wohler's method, means to the sample excess silver nitrate added, fabric carbon indicated, acetic acid added. Everything is same except here in modified one component, that is what they are adding, chloroform or nitrobenzene, one component extra added. Then what is the benefit of this? Means okay, in this nitrobenzene or chloroform is added after addition of silver nitrate, excess silver nitrate solution to the sample. Okay, because AgCl precipitate may be solubilized during the estimation of sample. Here the AgCl formed in the Wohler's method, if it undergoes solubilization, then we should add nitrobenzene or chloroform. Then what it do? What is the activity of nitrobenzene or chloroform? Then the added chloroform or nitrobenzene, it forms insoluble layer around the AgCl precipitate. Hence AgCl precipitate. Hence it will not react. It will not interfere with the titrant, that is ammonium thiocyanate or KCl, and there is no errors will not be occur. Then suppose if our AgCl is there, suppose AgCl precipitate, if you add chloroform or nitrobenzene, means it forms one insoluble layer like this, insoluble layer around the AgCl. Then the thiocyanate from burette cannot be reacted with AgCl. Then if there is no reaction, means there is no overconsumption. There is no errors. That's why it forms insoluble layer around the AgCl precipitate. The AgCl cannot interfere with the thiocyanate from the burette. Okay, this insoluble layer around the AgCl precipitate. Hence, it will not interfere with the titrant, that is ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate. This method avoids the separation of AgCl precipitate by filtration process before back titration. In Wohler's method, the AgCl precipitate should be removed by back titration. If you are adding nitrobenzene or chloroform to that sample, then there is no requirement of separation of AgCl by precipitation, because it forms one insoluble layer around the AgCl. It prevents the interaction of AgCl with thiocyanate. That is the advantages of modified Wohler's method. Then what are the applications of Wohler's methods or modified Wohler's method? It useful for determination of halides like chloride ion, bromide ion and iodide ion. It useful for determination of oxalates, arsenates, phosphates, chromates, sulfides. And third application, it is useful for estimation of ammonium chloride. And fourth application, this is useful for estimation of fluorides as lead chlorofluoride. It is useful for estimation of fluorides as lead chlorofluoride. And last application, it is useful for estimation of potassium as potassium tetraphenyl borate. These are the application and these are the principles. And these are the principles of Wohler's method and modified Wohler's method. Thank you. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and please share to your friends. Thank you very much.